It's Monday, September 26, 2022. Not a good start to the week. Somewhat of a Black Monday today. Really an awful start to the week. Dow Jones closes down 329 points. At one point in the day, I saw it down 415. NASDAQ down 65. The 10-year bond yield right now is sitting above 3.9%. I think it's at about 3.92%. The 2-year sitting at 4.34%. And these moves, these bond yields are moving so quickly, 20, 21, 22 basis points in such a short period of time. We've never seen anything like it. We continue to have this 10 and 2-year inversion taking place. Look, we know we're in a recession and big trouble is coming, ladies and gentlemen. And just looking at the performance of these markets today, when I look at the 10-year bond yield at 3.92, this is telling us that something is broken. There is concern. The cost to service debt is going up. The cost to borrow money is going up. And this economy is slowing down. We are going to see a liquidity crisis in this country. And I believe that these markets should have been down much, much more today than they were. So I don't know if it was the retail investor getting suckered into buying another one of these dips. This thing has a long way to go, ladies and gentlemen. Now look, not to say that the markets can't bounce back this week or next week, but it seems like it's going to be 1 foot forward, two feet back. And we're going to see lower lows and lower highs. Definitely, we are witnessing things breaking in this economy and in these markets. But we look at auto loan delinquencies absolutely skyrocketing. We look at car repossession skyrocketing. People backing out of their escrows, their home escrows, backing out at an alarming rate. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. 20 million households in the U.S. cannot afford their utility bills. We have inflation continuing to rise. Gas prices are rising. We're going to see more rate hikes coming. We have over $31 trillion of federal debt, not including unfunded liabilities like Medicare and Medicaid. Now we're talking about $170 trillion. Credit card APR now sitting at over 18%. Mortgage rate on a 30-year now approaching close to 7%. And it goes on and on and on. And the average person is absolutely being destroyed with all this right now. And we could talk an hour and go over the data of the debts, the deficits in regards to federal debt, to municipalities, cities, state, the pension problem. It goes on and on and on, and nothing is being done to fix it. And so we're going to continue as a country to continue to spend more money while the Fed raises rates, destroying the economy. We're going to raise taxes, doing this at the worst possible time. And people just are going to have a really hard time surviving all of this. There was an article in the Economic Collapse. It's titled, "They Know That They're Killing the Economy, but They're Doing It Anyways." The Fed seems determined, no doubt at this point, to slow things down, to no doubt kill off this economy. Now, some people will say it's being done on purpose. Some people will say it's not. Love to know like to know your thoughts. Comment down below. Is this being done on purpose? Is this calculated or is it not? I think that no doubt the Fed is going to destroy the economy. The Fed is engineering a very, very hard landing, a crash landing. It will not be a soft landing. Anybody that believes that is drinking the Kool-Aid. So I think a lot of people are coming to the realization that the Fed is not their friend, that the Fed created this. Think about this. The Fed created this mess. We kept rates too low for too long, printed too much money, way too much money, and now the same people that caused this are going to be the same people that fix this. I don't know. Is that even possible? Can the Fed even fix this now? First off, the Fed cannot control energy prices, cannot control what's happening with the food crisis and the food shortage. And we have a government that cannot stop spending. The Fed, all the Fed can do now is raise interest rates and tighten its balance sheet. I think that we're going to see a lot of people really hurt here. I know of people right now who are losing hundreds of thousands of dollars a week in these markets, still believing that they're going to recover and that they're going to be okay. And so many people, I believe, will stay in these markets too long because they're in these markets so deep right now, they cannot turn around. They're so brainwashed with these markets. They fooled themselves, and they're so deep into these markets they cannot get out, still believing that the Fed is their friend, that it's going to turn around, that there's going to be some type of miracle, and that they're going to get back all of their losses. And many of these people are older people, and if they lose a majority of their money in these markets, they're done. They will be working till they're 90 years old. So what do you think? Will the Fed be able to fix the problem that it pretty much created? I don't think they will without a lot of pain and suffering. It's going to be, let's put it this way, it was a lot of fun when people were getting all the free money and you could buy a house at 2.87% and borrow this money, and people were buying cars left and right with these low interest rates, RVs, everything. Everything was so cheap to finance. Money was cheap to borrow. Now it isn't. And people have borrowed so much money out of their homes, using them as ATMs to get into these markets, to try and make a lot of money, gambling on cryptos and on stocks. So people have borrowed a lot of money, put themselves in a very, very serious predicament now as the Fed raises rates, as the Fed is not your friend, as the Fed is going to destroy this economy, slow it down, hit the brakes hard. And people now losing their jobs, APR on their credit cards going up. People are going to have a very, very difficult time paying back the money that they borrowed. Article today coming from MarketWatch. Home buyers are backing out of contracts in the Sun Belt, especially in Las Vegas, Phoenix, Tampa, and Texas. I remember people I knew that lived in Phoenix just told me that Phoenix, it's going to go on for years. It was never going to end, and that I had no idea what I was talking about. And here we are now. 15.2% of homes in the Sun Belt that went under contract in August fell through. The escrows fell apart. 15.2%. 64,000 homes nationwide fell out of escrow in August. More than 25% of buyers looking to buy a home in Jacksonville, Florida, backed out of their contract in August. And some people are backing out because they can't afford the mortgage. They can't even get a mortgage at this point now. Think about from the beginning of this year to now, the interest rates have doubled. Some people are pulling out purposely just to wait on the sidelines now. They see the bigger picture and they're going, hey, maybe we better cancel, sit back for 6 months, see what happens, because I think we're gonna get a much better deal. So that's happening. But what's interesting is it's in these areas. I used to have agents message me all the time on Facebook telling me how wrong I was regarding the real estate market, that Vegas is not going to fall. Vegas is not going to have a crash. Vegas is not even going to slow down. Same thing. People in Phoenix would tell me, I have no idea what I'm talking about with Phoenix. They're building too many homes. Everybody from California is moving to Phoenix. And so it's never, the utopia is never going to end. These people they just don't see the big picture. They micromanage, but they don't look at the macro picture here. They don't go back to 2008 and study history. They don't understand that this was a fraudulent economy. It wasn't a market or an economy based on booming jobs, high-paying jobs, economic growth. It was an economy based and pumped up and injected with a bunch of fake money by the Fed. And so you know that these type of Ponzi schemes always come to an end. And when they do, these housing markets come to an end also. And now these people are beginning to realize it. How many agents, real estate agents, would lash out at me and tell me that it's never going to come to an end? But they have to say that. They have to say that. And I say to them, I hope that you saved minimal 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of money to weather the storm that is about to hit. And we look at what's happening to the home builders, what's happening to home sales, prices coming down, Orange County, San Diego County being absolutely annihilated as far as home sales. This is just the beginning. It's all like we're looking at mortgage lenders going out of business. We're looking at real estate offices closing down, layoffs, the mortgage departments at JP Morgan and some of these big banks laying off hundreds, thousands of people. And it's just started. What does this look like 6, 9, 12 months from now? How many people are going to be jobless and homeless? Here's another article today from Fox Business. Gasoline prices rise for a 5th straight day. Somebody please tell me what's going on here. I'm watching gas going up and up and up every day out here in Southern California, and many people are seeing the same thing in their areas. Gas is going up, yet the price of oil is going down. So why are we not seeing some relief at the pump? Comment down below. Love to know your thoughts on that. Here's another article today coming from Fox Business. Amazon, Walmart, Target roll out early holiday sales. This to me is another economic indicator telling all of us that this economy is in big trouble. People really need to think about what they're going to spend this Christmas. But when we look at these big retailers, I reported a week or two ago, the Walmarts, the Targets, the Amazons canceling a lot of their orders. Amazon shutting down or canceling new warehouses, millions of square feet of warehouses they canceled or just shut down. And this is an indication that we have a very, very slowing economy. And when we read something like this from Fox Business and we see how early they're rolling out the holiday sales, I think that people really have to be very cautious and very careful this holiday season. Last year, according to CNBC, 1 in 3 consumers spent more than they could afford. And on average, they spent about $1,250. Last December, the average credit card rate was around 16%. This year, it's over 18%. 25%, this is last year, 25% had an APR between 20 and 29%. This is last year. These numbers are going to be higher this year. Between 20 and 29%. 9% had an APR higher than 30%. And last year, I read an article in 2021, in December, that people still, 50% of the people that were buying in 2021 for Christmas, 50% of those people still owed money on their credit cards for 2020. Think about that. They didn't even pay off the previous Christmas, and half these people were spending on the 2021 Christmas. Be very careful, ladies and gentlemen. You know, Christmas isn't about gifts. It's about spending time with family and friends, giving your time, having a meal. If you have the means and you can afford to give a nice gift to somebody, that's fantastic. That's wonderful. And I'm sure it's very appreciated by those people. And it feels good to give too, right? I mean, if you have the money, the means, it feels good to give a gift to somebody. I understand that. But if you can't do it, you cannot put yourself into debt. You cannot put yourself in jeopardy because you overspent this Christmas. And if somebody doesn't like you for that, then you're hanging out with the wrong people. But my advice today is minimize the amount you spend this Christmas. And I think a lot of people are going to be forced to do that, but there are going to be people, again, that just go right back to the credit cards, rely on the credit cards, and they're going to spend more than they can afford to spend. And when you look at these credit card rates, 18, 25, 30+%, you're digging a very, very big hole. Again, it's about spending time with your family, your friends, your loved ones. Let's not put a monetary value on it. So be careful with that. And if somebody can't appreciate that, again, you're hanging out with the wrong people. 2 in 5 Americans say inflation will change their holiday shopping habits this year. Here's how to save money. Yeah, here's how to save money. Spend what you can afford. Probably spend less than you can afford. That's how I would view it. Spend less than you can afford and pay cash. Stop. If you have to borrow money, if you have to use a buy now, pay later plan, if you have to use a credit card, don't do it. Spend what you can spend with cash, what you can afford to spend without borrowing, because so many people are not going to pay that credit card off at the end of the month. And when you're looking at these astronomical interest rates on a credit card now, it is going to put you in trouble. It really, really is. And you don't want to be paying this off all the way to the next Christmas like these lunatics are doing. Government funding bill will include over $12 billion in new Ukraine aid. I'm going to finish with this article. A procedural vote is set for tomorrow, and this would bring the total funding to $65 billion, the total funding to Ukraine. So they're going to try to get another $12 billion in aid over to Ukraine, totaling now $65 billion. Look, I have nothing against the Ukrainian people. I'm sure they're super great. I don't get political. I have nothing against the Russians. I don't like war. I hope that this war ends very, very soon. I hope that we see peace. I hope that these people can just, put this behind them and things can move on. There's just so much going on. I mean, this is very, very dangerous for the entire world without a doubt. But what is very dangerous for us is pumping out another $12 billion while we are raising interest rates in America. This is what causes inflation, ladies and gentlemen. When you are printing and borrowing $12 million like it's a candy cane and just sending it to a country, who's paying it back? We're paying it back. Look, we're paying, they're talking a couple $100 billion in student loan debt is what this is going to cost, probably more. Inflation adding on another $11,000 to the average household in America. And here we have another $12 billion to add on top of all this. We just cannot stop spending. So it's more taxes, more inflation, more money printing, and we never get ahead. And it's more debts, more deficits, and it's a weaker dollar. Yes, dollar up today, I think 114 on the index, but the dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. We have a dollar, a currency that continues to get weaker and weaker. And this is how you do it. When you just pump out $12 billion to a country and leave all of us here to pay for it. So what do you think about that? Again, I see people sleeping on sidewalks. I see the vets that, are getting no help whatsoever. Their housing conditions are horrible, yet we have all this money to send overseas. I think it's wrong. I really do. And I just wanted to make note of that today and get your thoughts on it. We are suffering as a nation. We cannot afford to be helping other nations until we can help ourselves. And if America fails, if America is completely bankrupted, a lot of these countries are going to be in very, very big trouble. If we cannot feed ourselves, we cannot feed the rest of the world. And yet people just believe that there's this magic machine that just is going to last forever, pumping money all over the world. But look at the price that we're paying now. Now people are beginning to realize what all this causes. All the money printing, all this money that we send all over the world. Now people are beginning to realize that there is a price to pay, that the piper must be paid, that there's no such thing as a free lunch, because now people are hurting when they go to the store, when they go to the mall, when they go to the gas pump, when they go and pay rent, when they try to buy a house. And how many people now are never going to be able to buy a house because of where mortgage rates are and home prices? So we got a mess on our hands here, and nobody is doing anything to fix it. We need to lower regulation, we need to lower taxes, and we need to stop spending. That would be a start. Let's just lower a lot of this regulation, get all this bureaucracy out of here, lower taxes, give people a break, and we need to start getting real jobs back here in America. And we cannot be spending $65 billion with a country while America is bankrupt. Think about that. We are bankrupt and we are sending money overseas, huge amounts of it, like it's nothing. It's so dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. It's so dangerous for our currency, our standard of living, our future, our economy, etc. So dangerous. I'm going to leave it there. Have an incredible week. Again, markets flat across the board. Dow Jones down 329 points, red across the board. There is no light at the end of the tunnel from what I can see. If you have any good news, people always want some good news. And the good news to me is we're alive today, we're walking, we're talking, we're breathing, we're eating, and we have a roof over our head. That's fantastic news. And we have the ability, many of us right now today still have the ability to continue to prepare for what is happening, and many will prosper. But if you have some good news, please share it with us. It's so hard when I'm looking at the news, the data, and I'm looking at all these numbers, and I'm watching these markets. I don't see any good news. I really, really don't. And I think we really better be preparing for a serious storm here. And God bless the people down there in Florida. I think, what is a storm? This storm Ian, a friend of mine called me from the Keys this morning and said that water was about 4 feet from his house, and it's going to get really bad tonight. So let's say a prayer for the people in Florida, pray that they're okay, and that this storm passes with minimal damage. But look, we're all blessed today, ladies and gentlemen. We're alive. But if you have some good news, please share it in the comments down below. It is getting much harder to find good news. So be safe out there. Continue to prepare. Stay on path. I look forward to speaking with all of you very soon. Please share this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. And please, if you want to support this channel, make sure you subscribe. God bless.